The views and opinions expressed in this show do not represent those of Cal State Fullerton, the College of Health and Human Development, or the Kinesiology program.
Ready, aim, fire.
Welcome to Kinesiology 101, the podcast for kinesiology majors by kinesiology majors. Every week we bring you a new and exciting guest with tons of knowledge and experience both in and outside of the classroom here at Cal State Fullerton.
I'll let you know. I might have a video coming out soon, you guys. Pornhub.com.
That's how we're going to start this episode. Yeah, alright, so we're back here at Kinesiology 101, the podcast for kinesiology majors.
By kinesiology majors.
I'm Jose.
And this is Luis.
And today we got our good buddies, Adam and Eddie.
Yeah. Hi.
What's up, guys? How's it going?
The weightlifting people. Finally got them on an episode.
Yeah,
finally.
Yeah, so we got them here. Going to talk about some good weightlifting stuff, school stuff. But let's get the show rolling. Tell us a little bit about you guys, who you are, how long you've been here.
Let's go Eddie first.
Let's go Eddie.
All right.
Who are you?
My name's Eddie. Raised and born Ontario, Chino, California.
At a dairy farm.
Yeah, on a dairy. I grew up on a dairy, you guys. And honestly, I feel like that has a lot to do with where I'm at. Not because like my past, but growing up on a dairy, to me, having fun or doing something to enjoy myself was literally being physically active. My closest neighbor was on the other dairy at the end of the block, so it's not like I had friends around me. To us, having fun was like climbing haystacks, climbing trees, balancing on the longest fence you could find and trying to see how far you could get. That's literally what we did for fun. Like, it was all physical activity. And at the time, like, I think my parents had a lot to do with it because they came from Mexico, so they didn't have a lot of toys to play with. Yeah. So they did the same thing. They just did with what they had. So my mom would take us outside and make us jump rope or run races and shit. Yeah.
Did you ever play frisbee with the ice cream container lid?
No, honestly, it wasn't that bad. I actually had a real frisbee to play with.
Oh, okay.
I was like, what the hell are you guys talking about? I cannot relate.
Those are the toys I grew up with.
Yeah, so I lived on the farm till I was like 17.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, wow. I was there for a while. Then my senior year, the dairy moved to Idaho, and the whole time my dad was paying for a house. Okay. We would rent it out and use that money to pay it off. My dad was saving money, so when the dairy moved to Idaho, he got all his savings and just paid off the house. And then we moved in, I think it was 2006, 2007. So then I moved more towards Ontario. Before I was like borderline Chino, Ontario. At that point, I was just all the way Ontario. I graduated in 2007, started college at Fullerton, and then that's when the whole shit happened. I was there for a while, got my GEs, finished, and I got that email, declare your major, and I was like, fuck. So I didn't know what to do, went business because it seemed like the go-to thing. Did a couple years of that, hated it. And then the whole time growing up, I was always working out. When I was like in like 7th, 8th grade, I bought my first bench from Kmart. It came with more like 100 pounds of weight and lifted it till I could lift everything. And then when I was in high school, I took some weight training classes. And then post high school, I still kept working out, got a gym pass, but then kind of stopped just due to college and financial reasons. And then so for like 2 years, close to 2 years, I didn't really work out. And at that point, when I was in the business classes, I was like, I'm tired. Like, I don't know, I needed something. So I was like, I want to start working out again. So I took that class, that weight training class, mainly to start working out again. Mm-hmm. I had no intention of going to Kines or even going into the field. I took the class. James Stefano actually taught it.
Yeah, 146 weight training.
Yeah. I don't even remember what it was called back then, but took it, and he would start off class with lecture, and that made me realize, like, shit, there's a science behind working out.
Yeah.
So that class alone, at the time, I was already, like, people like to call them gains,
Mhm.
whatever. At that time alone, I was already making progressions as far as, like, because my mentality was always like, I want to get bigger. So to me, I didn't know anything about working out, but to me, getting bigger was just lift heavier as much as you can. So I was constantly adding weight. I wasn't that guy doing like 20, 30 reps of like a low weight. I was like, literally, if I could hit 10, 15, or even 20, right away I would ramp up weight. So I was already getting big, but then when I took that class and I realized like there was like different things you could do to actually get adaptations, I was like, all right. So I started messing around with that, and I got more. And then from there, I was already like, I hate business, I like this. And it was one of those things where I was just like, damn, do I do it? Like, do I make the switch? Because at the time, I guess I was thinking more of my parents, like, oh, I need to get a job and just like, be successful. And when you're growing up and you think about working out or physical activity, you don't think about that being a job.
Yeah.
You just think about it, something you do to enjoy yourself. So I was like, I hate this. I'm not happy. And I was like, you know, I'm going to make the switch. And I made the switch. I declared. I even let James know, because we had to keep a log of like all the things we were doing. And at the end of the log, I wrote him a note. I was like, dude, I really like the class, and honestly, this made me change my major. And I got a good grade. He thank you, gave me a thanks and everything. But after that, I switched, and in the beginning, it was crazy. It's crazy. It's something to look back on, but it's like I told my parents, I was like, I'm switching. I don't want to do business. I want to go Kines. They're like, well, what is that? And I kind of explained to them, and they're like, really? Like, what are you gonna do with that?
Just want to lift heavy shit.
Yeah, and it's fucked up.
PE teacher.
Yeah, it's fucked up. But one of the things my mom told me was, she was like, you're just doing it because you like the way you look. I was like, oh shit. All right.
It's true, Mom.
I'm not gonna lie, because when I told her that, I was in the garage working out, and I was like, you know what, I'm changing my major, and I told her what was happening. And she said that, and I was just like, shit. And she kind of like left, and I was just sitting in the garage like, fuck, is this a bad decision? Like, what am I doing? But whatever, I did it, I stuck it out, and little by little, like, as I went through like exercise phys and like biomechanics and all that, and all the literature, I was like, all the books I had to buy to take those classes, I'd be home studying, and my mom would look at my books, and she's like, what's that for? I was like, oh, it's bio, or exercise phys, or biomechanics, or this or that. She's like, you have to learn all that? I was like, yeah, that's what the major consists of.
Yeah.
And then she started realizing like it's more serious than what she thought. So at that point, they became a bit more supportive about it, and kind of like, okay, like he's actually doing something. He's not just like fucking around. So yeah, the beginning was kind of like rough, but in the end, it kind of like worked out.
Yeah.
So, and even now, like, I told my dad from the get-go, because beginning this year, I was like, you know, just because I graduate doesn't mean I'm gonna get a job, right? He's like, well, why not? You're gonna have your bachelor's. I was like, it doesn't work that way though. I was like, not in any major, and especially in ours.
Yeah.
I was like, just because I'm gonna graduate doesn't guarantee me a job. Like, I'm still gonna have to, I'm probably gonna be at my job, for the job I have right now, for like 2 more years or more. But it's gonna take me a while to just like get started in what I want to do and actually go into that. And he just kind of sat there and was just like, well, do what you have to do, kind of thing. Like, I could tell it kind of like he wasn't expecting it, but at the same time, I think he's at that point where he's like, fuck it, he knows what he's doing, or he'll figure it out, one way or another.
I think that's how it is. I mean, like, I could relate to you, my family, like my dad, who I live with. He's like that too. Like, I feel like those old school kind of parents just want like results right away. They want to see the money right away.
And the thing too is like, I feel like what their mentality is like, a job is a job.
Yeah.
It's not pleasurable. You don't enjoy it. It's a job is a job. You go, you work, you get your money, and that's it. Like, they see no pleasure in their job. That's why, and it sucks because like I consider my dad a laborer. Yeah. That's all he's ever done. Like, he worked on the dairy we grew up on. He worked it. When he got out of the dairy, he was doing lawns for a while until he found another job, and it was basically landscaping. So doing lawns for business buildings or freeways, and like that's what he does. And I mean, it's a job, and you get paid, but it's that mentality. It's like a job is a job. There's no pleasure in it.
They don't understand how it is here. It's a whole different type of living.
Yeah.
You know, you go to school for 8 years now to get a decent job. Before, you get away with like 4 years of bachelor's degree, but now so much competition, you can't get away with it.
And I think that's the thing. That's the thing too, and that's one of the things we need to look at too. It's like, if you just want to work, then just work. Don't go to college.
Yeah.
Like if you don't see a job as something that should be pleasurable, then just find any job and move up in there and just make money. Mm-hmm. But I feel like the purpose of the purpose of going to college is to find something you like.
Exactly.
And be like, and get a job and do something you like. I was talking to one of the mechanics that was working on my car. He was actually a supervisor there, but he said, we're talking about school and stuff, and I told him that I was going. And he's like, one thing you want to keep in mind is like, don't go to college to get a job. Go to college to create jobs. And when he said that, I was like, well, shit. Like, that makes a lot of sense. Like, yeah, we're going to college to get a job, but at the same time, it's like, why not go to college and get the knowledge to create something?
Exactly.
And just grow from that.
Yeah.
Like a gym.
Like a gym.
Right?
Hey, what's up, Adam? I forgot you were there.
All right, guys, so why don't you tell us about you and the gym that you want to make? I don't know if you still want to do that, but...
That's a big thing. Yeah.
No, but let's start with like your little background, where you came from, why you chose...
It doesn't have to be as long as Eddie's bio, but...
Okay.
I mean, we're about to end the show now.
Want to do this?
Okay, well, basically, I grew up in Temecula, and I grew up pretty much my whole life. I was always into music and stuff.
Yeah.
So, like, I think I was in a band for, it must have been like 8 years or more.
What kind of music? Rock?
Basically.
Yeah.
Honestly,
that was me too.
He showed us a song one night where did we go?
Probably.
We went out to hear something. We were drinking, yeah. But on the ride back, he's like, oh, this is our CD. He popped it in. And I was like, oh, shit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He was actually
oh, he's not that bad.
I know. I was like, I thought he was just joking around.
Do you still play?
I mean...
Not as much?
Yeah, I mean, I'm busy.
Yeah.
It's shitty, but...
Cool, I like to listen to it, so we'll probably put it up on the...
music.
It's just Adam, before you became an weekly.
I used to have long hair. It's funny.
No way.
And no beard.
Maybe you're workout music too.
Right?
I made a very cute looking girl. But so my whole life I was like in a band and shit, and then my dream in high school was I was gonna go to like a trade school and be like a recording engineer. I just wanted to make records and stuff.
Yeah.
And I took AP Music Theory in high school, and my teacher at the time graduated here with a music degree.
Uh-huh.
And he took us all on a field trip out here. And he was like, this is Cal State Fullerton. This place is awesome. We like went and watched the choir and everything. And I was like, this is so cool. I would love to go here for music. So I was like, yeah, music is really cool. Then my parents always like threw in this idea but like business gets you a lot of money and money's awesome. and they always like trickled in this little thing too, like, oh, you should also learn Chinese. And I was like, yeah, languages are cool. Chinese sounds like pretty
It's
hard.
hard.
Whatever, but
right.
So I actually applied here. I think I did undeclared, and then I was like, I'm gonna get a double major in business and music. And I was like, I'm gonna do something with that. I don't know. And then I started here, and I was like, that Chinese thing sounds kind of cool. And I didn't even start with the music thing yet. I was like, I'll just start off taking business classes. And I ended up for 3.5 years I was doing business with Chinese. I think I took 3 semesters of Mandarin. And and then it got to a point where they were gonna start having more of the language in the business classes, and I was like, I don't know any of this. I know 5 words. Somehow I'm passing these classes. I don't know. I'm totally screwed. And then for a year after that, I was like, I'm done doing Chinese. I'm gonna start doing film production. So I was like, I'm gonna change to entertainment business and start doing because I really like movies. I've been writing this one movie in my head. Well, on my computer too. But, so I did that for a while, and then I also, this whole time, I liked working out and stuff. I did a little bit of working out in high school. There's one of my best friends who's this dude that he never lives in America. He's in Kuwait right now. He was in Afghanistan for a year and a half or so before. But he was like, let's get personal training certified. I was like, okay, let's do it. So I did that, and then after I went through the process of going through all that, one of my friends was like, dude, you like this whole working out stuff, why don't you just change your major? I was like, yeah, let's do it. So the next semester, it was my first semester in the Kinesiology program, I took anatomy with Dr. Barr.
Nice.
And,
Nice. She's awesome.
Yeah. And I took 202 with Harmston, and then I had and I was also in marketing and some other finance or something like
so
that.
you're still taking business.
Yeah, and I was like, these classes are so stupid, but this anatomy class over here is the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think my favorite part about like switching with Kines was I noticed like just like walking through the halls, like going to business was always like I feel like everyone is here so they can learn stuff. So and like they can torture themselves with all this like boring information so that they can later like do something they want to do, or like make enough money so that they could do the stuff they want to do. But when I go to Kines, it's like these people are actually just like passionate about learning stuff about the body. I was like, I feel like I'm a nerd again. Yeah. Like, cause in high school I was like really nerdy into like math and music and stuff like that. So I was like, I kind of like being nerdy. So I went to Kines and and at that time like I had already read like I already had almost finished my personal training certificate and I had read like countless articles on the anatomy. So I took that class with Dr. Barr and I like felt comfortable. Like I didn't feel like an idiot. And I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. And then the next semester I just started taking like strength and conditioning stuff. That next semester I actually I took movement anatomy with Dr. Lin, and that semester I interned with Bobby Harmston and Mike Nagler over at UCI at their strength and conditioning department.
Nice.
And that was kind of a weird decision because I was like, I know nothing, but I'm gonna intern with all these like athletes, and they're like, I don't know what to do with you, like you don't know anything. So I was like,
how'd you get that? Did you know somebody or?
Well, in Gino Harmston's 202 class, Bobby had usually like, I don't know if he still does it, but he goes in there and he like gives a presentation. He's like, I honestly at the time didn't even know what strength and conditioning was. I was like, I like working out and I want to do something with that, but I don't want to just be a personal trainer. I was like, what is there? And I had no idea what strength and conditioning was. So he came and he was like, I train athletes. I was like, what? You make money for that? Which apparently not a whole lot. Yeah. Like not on him, but I mean like just generally like strength coaches don't make a lot. But yeah, I remember he did this thing. He was like a squat test, which is basically like who can sit in a squat for like 10 minutes. And I remember I was like the only person that could last as long to do it. And I was like, what? I could squat well. This is cool. I had like no idea. But and then I emailed him later. I was like, dude, I want to intern at your place. He's like, yeah. And then I was like so nervous. I had no idea what I was doing. But like while I was over there, pretty much all they said was like read more. So I think I read like 4 strength and conditioning type books when I was there. Nice. And one of them, which is crazy, is the textbook for the grad strength class, the one that I'm currently reading. For,
really?
Yeah, I already read through the whole thing, and I was like, I don't fucking know what I'm reading. It was cool. I mean, like I got some of it out of it. Like I understood stretch shortening cycle. That was kind of weird. I was like, I don't even know what movement anatomy is, but so yeah, I mean, that was a good experience. And then I just stayed here, and then I remember. I don't know, I didn't really know the difference. Like, I didn't know what strength training was, so, like, I would read all these articles. Like, I always read stuff on this website, T-Nation, which, like, now I feel like it's just turning into a bunch of bodybuilding bullshit. But, like, I would always go on there. I had no idea what strength training was or powerlifting or weightlifting. I was like, I don't get it. Like, why are you not just trying to get big? Like, I don't get it. But then I remember I was on Facebook and I saw something about Weightlifting Club. And then immediately I like messaged. I was like, what is this? I want to join this. And then the next day I showed up. And then it was cool because that was also like Rocky's first day. And then I remember seeing Eddie. I was like, that guy looks like a jackass. Really? Dude, you were like, well, you're shy. So I was like, I mean, if you
I don't get that. Like,
no, if you think someone like looks like a dick, they're probably just shy. They're probably really nice.
Yeah, no. The thing is, I get that a lot.
Yeah,
like, I remember.
Dude, I get that too.
A girl I dated, one in my 202 class, like Gina Harmson's class. A girl I dated from there, I would go into class and sit down, get in my seat and just face the front. Like, I didn't know anybody. I was shy. I was quiet. And we had a group project. We were forced to interact. So, okay, I met the people in my group. And then we all started talking, doing our project. But then I started talking to this girl. And she's like, yeah, when the semester first started, I thought you were like a douchey frat guy. I was like, I don't even fucking like frats. Like, I have no way associated with a frat.
I had you for movement anatomy with Dr.
Was it?
Novo?
Yeah.
And I mean, you kind of did. I could see where she.
Dude, is it the tank tops? Because people would
always wear tank tops.
Yeah.
You would always wear tank tops and a backpack, and you know how like some backpacks have like a little something that connect. I don't have mine, but so you would always come in like that, and I'm like, yeah, he looks like a frat guy.
Did you rub baby oil on himself?
No. Okay, that's
honestly like I knew exactly who you were because you would stand out to me. I think you would stand out because you would
all
walk
shiny
in.
and shit.
Yeah.
Dude, like you never came from like the farm with like an overall, dude, or anything
no,
like that?
maybe one time. No, I'm kidding.
No,
but yeah, I remember that. Maybe that's why.
She told me that, and I was just like, I'm quiet. Like, I don't get it. Why?
I'm so nice.
Yeah.
Why do people run away from me?
Yeah.
So you were saying about the weightlifting club?
Oh yeah, and so I joined that week, and I was like, this is awesome. And that's back when we had I figured that would be a segue into my weightlifting club.
Yeah.
But
Let's do it.
that's when we had this guy Shaughnessy McDermott, who is freaking awesome. That's like the scariest motherfucker ever, but like he's the nicest person. He was our coach, and then this guy Vic.
He's really good too.
Yeah, they're really solid weightlifters, but we don't really get to associate a whole lot with them right now because they're doing their own thing. But then them two were like our main coaches, and we also had a couple other people like Anna Rodriguez, who she's also a really solid lifter. I know she was training over at Waxman's gym recently, which is a good weightlifting gym out in LA. And this guy Barrett, who's also a really cool guy with a bunch of tattoos. And they were basically our coaches, and I was like all about it. I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. And back then, that's when we had I think we had like one platform, maybe?
Yeah.
And we were up
one
in
platform
upstairs in that weight room with like no bumper plates. Like I don't even think we considered those weightlifting
back
bars.
then
You
you
metal plates?
back then you knew you moved up when you were able to stand on the platform.
Yeah, which that took a while.
Because we'd be with the PVC pipes all on the carpet, like on our own spaces.
Yeah.
Galpin would walk us through progressions.
Did he? He never did that with.
Well, you know, when I started, he coached us.
Oh,
So I got
that's
to
crazy.
learn from him. And then when you started, that's when we got Shaughnessy come in, and then Vic started coming in.
Mhm.
But yeah, we would see like Anna lifting on the platform, or her sister Paulina, the other girls, but they'd already been doing it for a while. And then little by little, I saw like Barrett move up. Who's that other guy? We had a couple come out from our club. They had a baby together. I forgot his name.
Mike
Oh,
Lee.
Lee, dude.
That's
guy
one
was
guy that
dope, too.
graduated from grad school.
Yeah.
Nice.
He's out of Vegas now,
But yeah, you knew you moved up when you were able to stand on the platform. And lift weight.
Yeah.
Was that the first time you guys were like introduced to like weightlifting though, or before that? when you
Yeah.
guys
Yeah.
I had no idea what I was
like,
doing. I was one of those just like that we see all the time now. It's like, what the hell is a snatch?
Yeah.
I think I'd read it, but I'm like, I mean,
I'd probably seen it in the Olympics,
Yeah.
but that was it.
Yeah.
Like I remember, kind of like an assessment he would do besides like actual movies. Like, so what have you guys done? And I was like, oh, just regular working out, which is typically bodybuilding stuff. And I was like,
bench
and
press,
I had actually done a mock powerlifting meet at the gym I was at the time, like a few months before. So that's the only experience I had. So, and then just going into that, like, you realize how crappy you really are.
yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you're used to bench pressing all the time and not having your arms over your head.
Oh,
my
man.
God, that whole sport.
You're all tight. You can't get your overhead.
We have so many guys like that came in this semester. That's so funny because I feel like this semester right now is probably the most badass semester we've had so far because we just have so many consistent people.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, we have a couple guys in there that like their bodyweight squat is just like terrible looking still. Like they just, I mean, we're working on it, of course, but like they come in, they just like spend so much time working on it. And it's just like they look so frustrated because they're like they know it's going to take a while.
Yeah.
But they're just like so amped up about coming in. They're just like still.
It's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens next semester, you know, or over summer.
I think it's only going to get bigger and bigger.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because that semester I joined, I mean, I felt like there was a good amount of people then, but back then we were just upstairs and then our kinesis department gave us the opportunity of opening up that room down in one of those racquetball courts. I think that's when we bumped up to like 3 platforms, and that was the best because there was like me, Eddie, Rocky, Jeff Rother, who do you guys know Jeff Rother? The one guy, he's over at UCI right now, coaching weightlifting and stuff. That guy's a beast. He's actually about to be a national weightlifter.
Oh, really?
I think he needs like 2 kilos or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That guy's one of our like main guys that we hang out with. But there's like 6 or 7 guys and then like 6 or 7 girls. And I remember there'd always be like 5 girls on one platform and then like one.
The guys were split up on the other two
Yeah,
platforms.
and there'd be like 8 dudes on one platform with like 1 bar. And then you get me on there. I'm like, yeah, can we put like 80 pounds on there? And he's like 200. Yeah, so like we have to change so many plates. But yeah, I feel. And then after that, somehow me and Eddie jumped into the role of being coaches because at the time, Shaughnessy, our coach, was he was interning with the strength and conditioning department with like Will and Isaac, and he was doing the internship for Louisiana State. So like he just like moved back here for a little bit just to intern and help coach us. And then after that, he was like, well, I just got my bachelor's, I'm going to do other shit. So we were like, at that time, then we had Vic be like our head coach, and then he kind of like fell off. So me, Rocky, and Eddie were like, oh, well, I guess we are the coaches now.
Yeah.
Which like we're definitely like proud of the opportunity, or like excited about it. But it just kind of just started happening. Like we just moved into like, now we are coaches, and now like we run this thing, you know?
Nice.
It's pretty awesome. But yeah, over the past like 2 years of us being like in charge of it, we've noticed it's just growing like crazy.
Yeah.
This semester itself, like there were some days I'm like, this is almost dangerous. Like we should get a bigger place, or else like we have to start either like we have to like raise the rates or something, or we gotta start like turning people away.
Yeah.
All I know is like I'm starting to be a little more like, I wouldn't say mean, but if someone comes in, they're like, well, I don't really want to do like weightlifting, I want to do powerlifting. I'm like, well, yeah, it's a weightlifting gym, so bye.
In a way, you kind of weed them out.
Yeah, like I mean, if people don't want to be, like we sometimes get people like, oh yeah, I coach my friends on this stuff all the time. Like they're not really that into, like they're not open-minded to being coached.
Yeah.
I'm like, well then this isn't your place to be really.
Exactly.
Just like we're there. This is, I mean, you have to appreciate the opportunity for like, you have to respect our opportunity to grow as coaches, as well as you guys to grow as athletes. And it becomes like a really awesome bond for the fact that we're like, so many of these people are like also kinesiology majors, so like we're all in this learning together. So like if there's something like where me and Eddie were like, I don't really know, it's like, well, let's all learn about this. Like let's ask everyone we can find, let's read everything. But yeah, so I feel like now we're starting to get to a point where we want to be open to allowing like everyone possible into the place, but like if some people are just like not having the best attitude about being in there, like we kind of have to, you know, maybe not like, I don't know, I don't want to say any like bad things about it. Basically, we have to be like, well, I mean, we can't really coach you that much. You don't want to be coached.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Basically, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Yeah.
We've never turned anyone away. We've never
like told anyone.
Yeah,
to leave
we've
or
never
anything like
actively said no, you can't be here.
Yeah.
But it's just like it's that bond that everyone has being together. Because
Yeah.
literally, like, even if you don't know everyone like on a person-to-person basis, just being around the room, like you guys see each other all the time, and just like I had one of the girls, I've seen her and I kind of talked to her, but she's like, so what are you gonna work on today? And it's not like we know each other to be like sharing or like talking to each other like that, but it's just like that friendly environment to where it's like we're there working like together and stuff.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I like how it's a team thing too, because at the end of the day, a lot of the people there, they end up competing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Can you guys just talk a bit about how you guys got into training and then competing and then coaching people to compete like in St. Patty's?
We got like Dr. Galpin being like, you guys have to compete, and then we're like, okay. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah, basically. I don't remember like the first St. Patty's Day was my first competition. That was funny.
My first competition was when we were still in the old weight room.
Oh, like when is that back when like Colin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? No, that was the very first meet we had. The second one we had, I don't know if Colin competed in that one, but I actually competed in it.
So like what our first one was then upstairs in that.
Yeah,
Kinesia.
and then after that, when we did the St. Patty's, that was your first one, and I think at that point it was my second one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had a singlet that like was way too small for him.
I think I saw the pictures.
Like every second, like every time he would move. Oh, go. Oh, I had the blue one. Oh, he just used my blue one.
Oh, okay.
This was recently.
Yeah. No, the one before, like he borrowed our old coach Vic's singlet, and it was like kind of small. Vic's a little bit shorter than Eddie, so like the dimensions.
I don't
are
know.
kinda
I
weird.
always saw him and I was like, he's like a fairly built guy, so I thought like he's bigger than me. His singlet will fit. So when I asked him to borrow it, like put it on, it was just kind of like, I guess because I'm taller than him, it's kind of stretched out.
It was kind of like do you guys ever see Borat?
Yeah.
You guys know that yellow
Yeah.
thing? That was like Eddie 2 years ago.
Oh,
So like every time he would like move, his just like
I'd
his
have a nip
nipples would
slip.
pop out.
It was always my left one.
Always the left one. It's kind of
Yeah.
weird. I was like, come on, show the other
No,
one.
but
Yeah.
as far as competing, when I joined, I never thought about competing. It was just like, I want to learn how to live.
Yeah, it's just like weightlifting requires a hell of a lot of knowledge on how your body should move, and I mean the mobility that it's required, like to have like some crazy overhead positions. I mean, even like a snatch, like to some people an overhead squat's pretty intense, but like you need more than the ability to be able to snatch like or to overhead squat. So there's just so much learning involved in being able to teach someone how to do weightlifting. I mean, damn, we've been doing this for like 2 years, and like I feel like I'm an idiot half the time. Because I'm like, there's still so many books and so many things we have to read. It's just like constant, and it's pretty awesome. Like the best part about it is having the pressure of having people that want to compete, and you being the coach for them, and like having to know all the answers. It's like I don't know all the answers. Like I still need to learn more.
And that's probably one of the best experiences too. Is like coaching, especially during a competition. Me and Adam helped coach Alana, and she did real good.
You guys gotta get a lot on.
That
it.
was
this last meet.
Yeah.
St. Patty's one?
Yeah, this past St. Patty's one where she got first place.
Oh, really?
Nice.
Nice.
Well, there's only 2 other lifters, but who cares?
But the whole time she's like looking at us for answers, and we're just looking at each other like, all right, I'm counting cards, you're helping up with the warm ups.
Yeah, that
We're
is
going
a
back and
crazy
forth.
experience.
And
Like
it's
being a
like-
weightlifting coach.
And they're waiting on us, and in your head you're like, I don't know what the fuck I'm
so
doing.
scared.
Yeah.
And you got like the other weightlifting coaches like looking at
Yeah,
you guys
no.
like,
And
They're like,
"These
books
guys."
a check.
And I'm over counting cards, and I'm like, I see the other coaches there, and I'm like, I'm looking at him counting cards, and I'm counting cards, and I'm just like, so how does this work? And he kind of looks at me like, really? He's like, you're asking me? But then at the same time, he's like, fuck you. And then he starts helping me out.
Yeah.
So I was like, cool. Like, I don't know. That's one of the things too. Like being able to ask for help when you need it. Like, I asked him. He was at, and from then on, his girl was actually warming up next to. They were on the same platform, weren't they?
Oh,
I
yeah.
think they were
That guy
warming
was
up on the
dick.
same platform. So we're there warming up together, and like he realized like we're like there to coach. So he was actually fairly cool about that. But I don't know, just like knowing you have a lifter. Like when we lifted, I didn't have anyone coaching me. Like
Yeah, when we
Shaughnessy helped out a lot.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's one thing about coaching that's like kind of hard is like you look at the cards to see like who's opening up with what weights, and it'll say like the name, and you'll be like, oh, I'm really weak, so I'm opening up first. Like I'm gonna be the person lifting first. So then it's like if the session starts at noon and you want to start warming up at around 11, it's like you don't want to fatigue yourself, and you also don't want to get way too much rest time in between, because I mean we learn about this stuff like
It literally
you're warm-
turns into a game. Like,
Yeah, it's like it's so much like chess.
people think it's
crazy.
like
Really?
people
Yeah.
think lifting weights just lifting weights. Like no, like,
You don't just go up to the platform and lift it.
Yeah.
Like you have to like. So basically, what me and Eddie did, which was really nice, because throughout the whole time it was not only did we have people we were coaching, we were also having to warm up for ourselves.
Yeah.
Which
Oh,
is
you
very
guys, because you guys competed in that same
Yeah.
event?
yeah, it would be like we would help our like Alana. We helped her warm up and everything for like an hour to start doing for her snatch,
Yeah.
and then she competed on snatch, and then after that it was like clean and jerk. But during the part where she was having to warm up on clean and jerk, we had to start like warming up on snatches and stuff.
Yeah.
And then like maybe
No, you
maybe
know
the
what?
time was maybe it was when Jessica.
It was Jessica who was
Yeah.
up next. But
But-
then when Jessica was up next, we were gonna go right after that. So that kind of like messed up that whole transition.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. But basically what happened was like we kind of set up the rules. I was like, Eddie, you be like you go check to see when it like we're actually up. Like how many minutes are we gonna estimate, so we can know like we hit this weight now, and then we put 5 kilos on, warm up in 4 minutes. And it's like it became like a counting like a math game, but it was like it flowed really well.
Yeah.
I mean, like a
The
lot
thing
got
about
first
it too
place
is like you
last.
think like okay, there's 4 lifters in front of me, but then people start changing their numbers, and out of nowhere from 4 you'll go to like okay, there's 1 more in front of you.
Yeah.
So you're like, well, shit.
You
they're
think
on
you have
that
20
weight
minutes,
now.
but you have like 5 minutes. You're
Yeah.
like, wait, I'm not even close to being warmed up.
Yeah.
That's what I felt like you did with your snatch. I felt like you were
Yeah.
like 5 minutes to warm up on snatch.
Yeah.
And then
No,
you
my
PR'd.
worst one was my clean and jerk.
Yeah.
My worst one was my clean and jerk because I hit my number, and then I wanted to bump up, so Dr. Galpin actually stepped in and started coaching us, and he's like, oh, I think you should hit this. I was like, nah, I want to go more. He's like, no, you already hit your previous PR, like this will be good for you. I was like, nah, I want to go more. So he kind of like looked at me, he's just like, all right. So he bumped up my weight.
And then the best thing is like, cause me and Alana were kind of standing like back, like we were out there like watching Eddie lift and everything, and Galvin came up to me and Alana, and he was like, that guy's not gonna make that lift. Like not being like mean or anything, but just like that's a stupid decision. Like I told him he shouldn't go up, but he chooses to go up.
No, but what was crappy was I hit that, so he goes and tells the announcer like to bump up my weight.
On top of what you had initially bumped up?
Well, from
Oh, no, because-
what I hit last. Like
Yeah.
you hit your number, and then they go tell the announcer like, okay, this is gonna be the next lift.
Yeah.
So he tells them, and I'm sitting there, and he's like, all right, you have a lot of people opening up at this weight. So I'm thinking like, okay, a lot of people, like not that many. There's like 3-4 lifters. It shouldn't take that long. I swear, I think I sat there for like 10 minutes.
It's like 10 or 15
And I was like,
minutes. Just not warming up. Or
yeah, I was like, I'm
anything.
getting cold. Like I need to lift something, and that
You probably should have gone like 1 kilo lighter.
yeah.
And then you could have like.
I'm sitting there, and I'm like, what do I do? And I'm not gonna lie, so I did. So I felt like I was kind of warmed up. I started just flexing every muscle in my body, like, just tensing up.
Yeah.
I was like, this is all I got. And then
he hit
sure
it.
enough, yeah.
And then Galpin was like, "What?" But no, I told him, I was like, because Galpin was like, "Yeah, he's not gonna hit it." I was like, "I don't know, I mean, Galpin doesn't really see Eddie lift a whole lot. He kind of surprises you. Sometimes you're like,
I didn't see me lift, and I guess in a way I kind of surprise myself sometimes too. Like, I don't know, me and my brother have always called like retard strength. You don't know you got it, but
or
for some
sandbagging
reason,
strength.
Yeah,
You could have been lifting 110 kilos like back in the day.
So, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, but he hit all his lifts and PR'd on snatch and clean jerk.
Nice. So what's the purpose of the coach in weightlifting? Is it for you to tell the person who's in charge of changing the weight to change this amount, or what exactly?
There's a
the
lot of
coach,
goals.
yeah.
I would say like
the way we did it, we split it up.
Yeah, we were
but
two coaches.
usually it's like one coach with a team.
Which is insane.
Yeah, and me and him teamed up to coach one person. So you got to think about that. Like, basically, what you do is you tell them how to warm up. You do the mental thing with them, and you're counting cards. We split all that up.
And by counting cards, you mean everybody that's competing on that same
weight class. So how many people are in front of you? What weights are they hitting? What weights you're gonna hit? How you're gonna bump up?
That's what you guys were talking about.
And then you're back there like helping them warm up and just trying to keep them focused.
Yeah, so that was like basically what I get to spend a lot more time like with Alana, like when she lifts and stuff. There's only 5 of us that competed. There was me, Eddie, Rocky, and like we basically just coach ourselves. Yeah. And then we had Alana and Jessica. Jessica was like our old president. So we were like, we'll coach the 2 of them, and then we'll coach ourselves. And then I wasn't getting at with this.
What the purpose of coaching is.
Yeah, so like basically we decided. So I spend a lot more time like kind of working with Alana because like we're pretty close friends. Like we talk a lot about the weightlifting stuff. Like we're always like sharing information with each other. Then we always like kind of work out at the same time. And then this semester she's been lifting a lot more consistently because she came in a while before, and then kind of took a big break and then came back. And I feel like when she came back this past semester, Eddie hasn't had a chance to like be in the room at the same time as much because he has class. Like the previous semesters, we would have a gap at the same time. So he'd come to the weightlifting club at the same time I was in there coaching. So we'd both be coaches. But so I felt like it would probably be better if, since me and Alana like spend more time like in the coaching environment around each other, that if I take over like the mental aspect and the numbers of telling her what weights to lift, and then Eddie go like basically run back and forth like figuring out when, like how much he would go be like, okay, we got like 5 lifters in front, we have an estimate of about 15 minutes. So I'd be like, okay, well then we can hit this lift at this time, this lift at this time, and like kind of plan it out. At that point,
as far as like what I was doing, you start thinking of lifters as numbers. So I was like, all right, we got a 57 going, we got a 58, we got a 60, we got a 62, 61. She would be like whatever her number was at the time.
Like 65.
Yeah, so you knew where she stood. And then so I would tell him, he's like, well, we got this much time to warm up. And then that's when me and him would be like, he's like, so I think she should warm up at this way. Do you think she should hit this? And then we start kind of like figuring out like what she should do, when she should hit it. So
and every lifter, excuse me, gets 3 attempts, right? And whoever gets the highest lift, obviously wins.
Yeah, it's like the combination of snatch and clean and jerk.
It's a combination.
Yeah, when you get, it's your total. So if you get like a 60 snatch and a 70 clean and jerk, whatever, you have a 130 total. If that's higher than everyone else, then you win.
Oh, okay. So there isn't a single category for snatch.
For best snatch or best clean and jerk now.
Yeah,
that would be cool too.
How much time do they have in between like each exercise?
There's it's like a.
Well,
10,
as far as
it depends.
Yeah, as far as lift by lift goes, between different athletes, it's different lifters. It's how much?
1 minute between.
1 minute.
Like,
but if you follow yourself, like let's say I hit 55, and then I hit my lift. There's a minute between me hitting my lift and the next guy hitting his lift. So he has that minute to just like prepare and then go. But if I follow, let's say I hit 55 and I miss it, do you follow? Depending if someone else is gonna hit that lift or not, you follow yourself. So they give you a 2 minute gap to just kind of like recover and then just prepare and then go for the lift again. So and that's usually
it could be like your rest time in between when you hit attempts could be anywhere from like 2 minutes to like 20, 25. Yeah. Like it could be a crazy amount sometimes because you might have 10 lifters lifting at the kilo above what you just hit. So you're like, well, shit, I gotta sit here wait for all of you guys to start your opening weights, and then I'm over here at this next weight, which is why counting cards is so important because you're like, I don't want you to rest for 20 minutes. That's stupid. Like So it's that's the part that makes it a crazy chess game. But then in between lifts like the snatch attempts and then the clean and jerk, I think it was like, it depends. This competition that we do at St. Patty's Day is always like an open. so it's not like a national
They
event.
do like
it's not
10-minute gaps.
It's like a 10-minute gap.
15-minute gap.
But sometimes it kind of like runs long, so we're like, oh, let's just cut that 10-minute gap.
Yeah.
So it's like if you lift early on and you hit your snatches, then like you might still have like 30 or 45 minutes to start warming up and getting close to your numbers on clean and jerk. Even if you're like the strongest lifter for the snatch, you're probably gonna be the strongest lifter for the clean and jerk. So then you still have that same window. So you get a little bit of time. Usually people like go out and like watch some of the other lifters and like settle down for a minute, maybe like grab a bite to eat, like a little bit, and then they go back in and start warming up for clean and jerk. But it's definitely, once you start going in there, it's like madness for a while. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
It's scary, but it's pretty fun.
Yeah, I've never been to one. I think I've been wanting to go.
I've gone to them, but it's only because of the extra credit. But once you're there, because I've helped out to like load the weight.
Yeah.
And, like,
You've been that's kind of stressful, right?
The last 2-3 years, I was with Vic. I think the first time I went there.
Oh, really?
And I was like, all right, dude, what do I do? Like, how do I? Because it's in kilos, dude. I mean, here it's always my weight, right? So I'm like,
And that's just the environment you see like on the competition platform. Like when you're in the back room, that's a completely different environment too.
That's where it feels like the competition is, like especially between coaches. I feel like
coaches
like
compete more against each other than the actual athletes. The athletes are just there warming up, getting ready for their weight.
And that's kind of how you want it too. You just want
other
the athlete
teams and
to
shit.
focus on
Just
their
like I
They're
remember my first competition. I didn't know shit, and I heard one of the coaches like, if you hit this, you'll be above him on here, and then on your clean and jerk, you hit this, and you'll have this much total, and you'll beat him. I'm like, beat him? I thought we were just lifting weight. Like, I just want to survive. Yeah, like when did it become a one-on-one or? I thought we were just here lifting weight. Like, but then you start realizing what they're talking about, and it's like, okay, like he's playing the game.
Yeah, he's playing chess, right?
Yeah, it definitely feels like chess. It's pretty awesome.
Is there a problem with like making weight, cutting weight, like in the sport of weightlifting, or is that even?
Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah. It depends. If you're going in to qualify or you have like goals set, like you have to cut weight or whatever.
Yeah,
but if if you're just there to lift, then just I don't know. Like my first 2 meets, I cut weight only because it was recommended because I was a few pounds over a weight class. So I think I was like real close to 69.
Yeah.
So that I just drop a few pounds. I think I had to drop like 3 or 4 pounds. And my whole life was get bigger, get stronger.
Right.
So when they told me to cut weight, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So I did diet for like a week to cut the weight.
Like a week. Yeah. Remember me though? Remember I tried to lose like 15 pounds?
I
was just like, I'm fat. I should go compete against Eddie.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna lose a bunch of weight. And then it started getting closer, and I was like still committed to losing weight. And I was like, I'm just not gonna eat anything for a week, and lost like a shitload of muscle and a bunch of strength, and it was like the worst idea I ever had.
Yeah.
I'm actually like, it took me until like the past 6 months to recover from like that stupid of a cut.
Really?
But like an hour before his actual like weigh-in, he's like, fuck, I still got 5 more pounds to go.
Yeah, I think that week.
This, and he just starts eating donuts.
I
was like, fuck it.
Yeah, because I was trying to get down like below. I was trying to get to 169 pounds, and I started that week like with like 179 or something like that. And I was like, I mean, I was never a wrestler and stuff like that, so I never really cut for a competition. I was like, I don't really know what I'm doing. I read some stuff, but I was like, I'm gonna wing it. I'm like, this is gonna be my own experience. I'm gonna do it wrong, or I'm gonna do it really awesome. And so I was like, I'm just gonna like not eat as many things this week.
Was this before?
This was
strength and conditioning or after?
Probably after.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Good experience.
Yeah, but I just wanted to see what it would do to my performance and stuff like that. I ended up just jacking. My deadlift went down so much.
Oh my god.
But it took me like 6 months to get my deadlift back up like another 50 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, I ended up not making that weight class. I was like 2 pounds over still after like no water and food for like 24 hours or more.
That sounds horrible.
So I was like, yeah, screw it. I'm just gonna chug a bunch of water and eat some donuts.
I remember the night before, my brother was eating Doritos, and I was like, I would grab a chip, just put it on my tongue. And I would eat it, and I'm just staring at the bag. My brother's like, dude, you're not gonna make weight doing this shit. I'm like, shut up. Grabbed another chip, just let it sit on my tongue, and then ate it.
Yeah.
It sucked.
What I would say, like, I feel like my philosophy on cutting weight and stuff like that is like, if you have to make a drastic cut and you're not doing it for like a way to qualify into any other competition, then don't do it. Like, just lift where you're at. Like, the fact that you're about to spend a couple weeks cutting is going to mean that you're not going to be able to perform as well those couple weeks. Like, so you're not going to really get that much stronger. And then, like, you're going to have a little bit of added stress to it. And then you're going to have to gain the weight back up again afterwards. So it's like, don't worry about the cut right now. Like, if you're trying to get the 85 kilo class and you're like 90 kilos, like, just get over it. Like, just lift wherever you are. But, like right now, our lifter, Alana, she is trying to get into university competitions. So we have this meet coming up in 2 weeks that we have to get a scale. I'm gonna buy a scale like this weekend so I can like actually see how much she weighs. But she might have to lose like 3 or 4 kilos in 2 weeks so that she can go down a weight class. Because we know like her numbers are really solid for the weight class that she's currently in, which is a 58 kilo class. But we want her numbers to be like even more solid in the 53 kilo class. Okay. So like, cause then she'd be like, without a doubt, she would hit like the numbers you need to qualify. So we just started talking to like, she just signed up for it like a couple days ago, and we just set up her diet plan like a couple days ago that she needs to start setting up so that she could lose like a couple, like maybe 1.5 kilos like of body weight just from like maybe fat loss a little bit. And then the last couple days before, we might actually do like a little bit of like a somewhat of a dehydration type thing, or just eat a little bit less. I just don't want her to like lose a lot of energy, and it's like I don't want her to have that added stress of like not having any, like just feeling tired all day. So when it comes to cutting, I'd be like, is it a really good idea? Like really think about if what you're about to do is gonna help you in the long run. Because you're not trying to like, I mean, this is why like in the Olympics, like people program for 4 years.
Exactly.
Like weightlifting is every 4 years, you know, so it's like, do we want you to cut and like do all this stupid shit like for the next 4 years, or just like get really, really strong, eat food to fuel your workouts and get, you know, a hell of a lot stronger so that in 4 years from now you can figure out if you need to cut or not.
Exactly.
So
you guys do it all, huh? Cutting weight, nutrition, programming, mental preparation.
And it's things I never thought I was gonna have to cut, and I never, like him, probably never thought he was gonna have to program cutting into someone's like program. But crazy. It gets to that level when you start competing. And the thing about whether you should do it or not, it's more is like kind of like it's planned. So you know the whole time it's like, all right, this is the weight class you're at, these are the numbers you're hitting. So you're conscious about like the amount they're lifting and their weight class, and it's like, okay, like should they bump up a weight class or go down? And that's when you start programming whether they're gonna cut or not. And then the whole nutrition and all that too. Like Alana's fairly savvy about it. I'm pretty sure like does a lot of it on her own.
Yeah,
but he'll give her advice like kind of like he was setting her up for this meet in the next 2 weeks. Like he'll give her advice on what to do, but it's only based off of like competition. It's not. No one cuts for pleasure.
Yeah,
fuck that.
Yeah,
like
unless you're trying to get a six pack. But fuck that.
All the beach body people, like they probably do it. But other than that, it's like
they're cutting weight for the onion run. That's what they're doing.
Oh yeah, right. I've done that a few times. Guys, I gotta look sexy for.
Here we have like a couple of days.
Yeah, it's about Thursday.
Start tomorrow.
Start dehydrating.
After the fight.
That's all right.
No, but other than that, like it's planned and programmed. If it's necessary, it's planned and programmed. But if not, don't do it.
I think the coolest part about being a coach, which is, I mean, there's pros and cons to so many things, but like the coolest part about the opportunity is like the fact that if you call yourself a coach and you have an athlete and that athlete calls you a coach, then like your role from then on is you do a bunch of work so that they don't need to do the work, so that they can just focus on what they're trying to be good at, which is lifting. And I mean, in this case, like Alana is graduating in the same major as us, and she has the same like aspirations to be just a badass like strength coach. But at this point, like she knows, like I know she knows that she's just like her main focus is just be good at weightlifting. Just think like if anything, spend more time visualizing snatching rather than visualizing like how to program for this competition stuff. Give that job to me. Like I'll do all that stuff for you. You don't stress out. Like all you need to do is just focus on how you can get that bar over your head.
Just focus on being an athlete, basically. Yeah.
But it's cool because like I know that she also has a desire to be a coach, and she like is probably thinking about program design. But it's like really cool relationship knowing that like she could just pass that stuff on to me to worry about, and then we could communicate all this stuff and like figure out why we're doing it. But like don't worry about it. Like I know like before that last competition, I think I spent like probably 12 hours reading like tapering programs. Reading just like I think I read this one article like 4 times by this guy Greg Everett, which is like so much weightlifting information comes from him, but like it was all about what to do when you're a coach in that practice or like what we just talked about, counting cards and all that. I was like, what the hell is counting cards? This is 2 days before the competition. I was like, what the fuck did I make myself into? And it worked out really nicely, but it was like the scariest thing ever. But that's the coolest opportunity about being. I mean, I never thought I'd call myself a coach. I always just thought I'd be a dude that works out. But like, there's so many more like stressors that come with it, so many more responsibilities. But it's like you feel really badass like doing it. And that's the best part about the fact that like our old coaches just kind of like they didn't like disappear, but like we kind of just like fell into that position of like being coaches, and we're just like, oh well, that's what we do now, and this is awesome. And it's like I feel like an adult because of it, even though I don't make any money off of it. But
I think that's the best part too, though. Kind of like Adam mentioned, like the recognition. Like they call you coach.
Oh yeah,
or
that's
they say
beautiful.
He
feeling.
coached me, like because of what we're doing and where we're at. Like people come in, you introduce yourself like, "Hi, I'm the coach," but it's another thing when they look at you that way. Like we had a foreign exchange student from Germany.
Chris?
Yeah, he came in, started. He's a CrossFitter. He was in a box out where he's in Germany. Came out here and was looking like for something to do. And when he came to us, he thought it was CrossFit, but we're like, no, it's weightlifting. And for a while, he was kind of doing his CrossFit thing. Nothing against it, but we're like, dude, like it's CrossFit. There's no problem with that, with what you want to do. Just as far as like practice is going, we're gonna focus on weightlifting, and then once the whole coaching part is done, then you can do whatever you want to do.
Right.
Yeah.
So he worked, and he stayed for 2 semesters, and he had to leave. I think he's in Denver, Detroit,
doing a bunch of crazy. Michigan, I think.
Michigan. So I don't know where he's at right now, but when he left, he said his goodbyes, and then a few weeks after, he kind of told us, he's like, or he posted something on Instagram. He found a place to train out where he's at right now, and he posted a video of catching his, I think it was like a snatch or something.
Yeah.
And he just mentioned, he's like, got this PR, blah, blah, blah. He's like, thanks to a lot of the things that we learned from Coach Eddie and blah, blah, and just like,
Coach Adam, blah, blah.
And the thing is, it's like, even like months and weeks after, like for him to bring that up, I was like, fuck, like, I mean, I thought I was just doing my job in the club. Like, I didn't think people still look back on it. And another time too, I was in practice, and one of the guys, Danny, someone bought a shirt. I got the money and I put it in our box, and this guy Danny was like, so what do you guys do with the money? I was like, look at our equipment, man. Like, we invest in the equipment.
Right.
He's like, well, what about you guys? Like, you guys don't get paid? I was like, nah, man. Like, this is, I don't know, we just do this. I was like, why, you think I should get paid? He's like, well, yeah, you're coaching. I was like, people want to pay me for this? Like,
Idiots.
yeah, like, I don't know. Like, it's a trip. When you start realizing, like, there's value in what you're doing, it's a big thing. It's just, like, helping Adam coach Alana, and then just, like, having her talk about it after, and, like, knowing that she recognizes you, like, people recognize you that way, it's like, okay, I'm doing something right.
Yeah.
Like, I'm doing something right, and I'm making it better for someone else too. Like, that's a big, I mean, it might not be money, but still, it's like a big help.
Yeah.
Just knowing.
That feels like success more than money. No, money's really nice, but like when someone calls you a coach, you're like, yeah, I'm doing life right. Yeah.
Nice.
I guess like another thing I'd like to talk about, like if you guys want to, about the club is basically one thing I've been thinking about lately is like right now we're basically like primarily we're like running it with like me as I coach like most of the times, and then Rocky right now he's our vice president, and he honestly does like so much work that I think a lot of the people in the club probably don't get to see. So I guess it's a shout out to Rocky.
Yeah.
One thing, good job Rocky. Thanks for doing all the work.
He's a background guy.
He's considered the vice president, but he's basically the president, vice president, and secretary.
Oh, wow.
Well, I know Eddie does a lot like with the newsletter, which that stresses me out like crazy. I mean, like I wouldn't want to have to write the newsletter all the time, especially because this week it got all jacked up.
Yeah.
I know, I always get like every week, because there was like 3 emails. Oh, sorry, I apologize for the email. Oh my god.
Dude, you're sending it on your phone and then you accidentally send.
No, I remember one time I was doing it on my computer, and I like shifted and hit enter. Like I shifted for something and I hit enter, thinking I was gonna space down, and it just sent. I was like, what the fuck? I'm not done.
I ruined everything.
Yeah, I was like, god damn it, so I went and fixed it. I've had times where like Jeff texted me once. He was like, god damn it, Eddie, stop fucking it up. Leave me alone. Yeah, that's Jake Steele.
That's funny.
Yeah, but so basically, Rocky does a whole lot of the administrative stuff.
Yeah.
He's basically the treasurer as well. Like he handles like when we buy new equipment, he talks to all the people. We get so much equipment for not only for free sometimes, but like really good discounts.
Yeah.
It's like really cool. We get a lot of support from a lot of people. But basically, what I was getting at with that is like I kind of have most of the coaching times right now, and then Rocky has one coaching time, and then unfortunately Eddie hasn't been able to really coach a whole lot this semester. But what I'm getting at is that I know when the three of us are kind of like on our way out from school here, that I feel like the club might not have as strong like pyramids keeping it together. Pillars like keeping it together. So my goal right now over the next like year and a half or so until I'm gone is I'm trying to transition like some kind of system where we can bring in like coaches that maybe don't want to specifically do weightlifting, but like at least want to do something related to like personal training or some kind of strength coach where they can come in and be like, basically, like an internship type program, but obviously you're not going to end up making money after a while. Like you're just going to move into a position of being a coach at the club. But I want to set it up to where it'd be like, oh, you want to be like a weightlifting coach or a powerlifting coach or some kind of coach, you should check out the weightlifting club. All you gotta do is like, learn from them about stuff. And there's some other things that I want to do with it. Like I have this like book that I'm trying to put together right now that I'm gonna try and finish before I'm gone. But I want people to come in and be like, okay, now I know how to teach everyone in the world how to squat. I can figure out exactly what the issues might be. So now when we have a practice time and there's 15 people inside the room, and then especially at the beginning of the semester, if there's like freaking 15 people that are brand new that have never touched a weight in their life, it would be really helpful if I can continue coaching like the more advanced athletes that want to compete, whereas we have these like more at the beginner position coaching that can be like, okay guys, I'm going to assess you on your squatting, deadlifting, overhead pressing, see if you guys have like mobility in the areas that need mobility, blah, blah, blah. And like they can take care of all that at the same time they're learning how to be a better personal trainer or a coach. And then they can also learn from us how to teach like the more specific weightlifting issues. And then we can turn in more coaches, and then by the time we're done, like when we leave and go on to different things, we can leave the club to people that we trust to keep it going. Because essentially, like I don't think people realize that university clubs, like they're very rare, but like some of the clubs in the country like end up being places where some really, really high-end athletes come out of and end up like having the opportunity to train with the best people in the country and then be able to potentially go on and be like an Olympic athlete. Like there's so many people that maybe if they're not Olympic level, like they're able to train at the Olympic Training Center, and that's like training under basically who America thinks is the top coach of America. Like that all starts from people that start these little tiny clubs, and now we're basically right now we are in charge of handling this like fragile like club that like if we leave it's over. Like it's hard to just find coaches that want to, because honestly it's like this, like we don't make any money for it, we have to put a lot of time into it, and a lot of the people that we have coming to our gym are not necessarily people that even know what weightlifting is. We have some people in there like somehow still don't know what a snatch is. I'm like, we've been calling it a snatch like over and over again, like you somehow still don't know. Nothing against them, it's just like they're so new to this like type of lifting that the people that you work with are like, they're not like top level athletes. They're not, half the time they're not coming there because they already know how to weightlift. They're half the time they don't even know how to squat, or like they're embarrassed by the fact that like you're asking them to squat, like, so it's very like interesting like vibe like when you go in there. It's not like going to someone like Waxman's gym, who's a big weightlifting coach, or Bob Takano, who's legendary Hall of Fame weightlifting coach, who was at our St. Patrick's Day meet, and that was the scariest thing ever. But it's not people where you're like, yeah, you can move really, really well, you're already really strong, we just need to tune up your snatch a little bit. It's like these people are like, yeah, we're gonna spend the next like year trying to get you to be able to squat heavier weight. And I don't think a whole lot of people are just willing to just take on that role. So like we really need to start breeding coaches that want to be like badass strength coaches. Like we need to start moving people into this position. So it's my goal to write up this like book that's going to have like movement assessments, like ideas on how to program, and then how to program specifically for a club where it's like not like other clubs. And then maybe if I could get something that's like 50 or so pages that we could put into like little tiny booklets that's always like a reference, we just leave that in there and be like, hey, you want to be a coach at a weightlifting club? read this book on like how to squat, deadlift, bench, or whatever, and then you can move on. Now you can start teaching like all the newbies how to squat, and then you can work with those guys for a while, and then we could like continue to be with our like competitive people. So that's my goal right now. So I mean, I guess that's like something to promote. Be like, hey, look out for information like that. If you want to be a coach or personal trainer or something like that, come talk to us, and we'll try and get you in there to like learn how to be a better coach.
Yeah, definitely.
Have you ever thought about having like a weightlifting class, a 1-unit weightlifting class specifically for weightlifting only?
I mean,
I think it'd be nice, but
I don't think that's very likely.
Yeah.
Just because I mean, they have to see merit in you, like having like you have to expect people to actually sign up for the class in order for them to dish out the money to pay you to do. Because it's like I think you make like $600 a month teaching one of those 1-unit classes. Maybe not. I mean,
so even if it was like academic classes for the Kinesiology curriculum, because you know like we have the weight training class.
Yeah, like the 1 units.
So having like a weightlifting one.
That would be awesome.
I feel like
it
would be so cool. I have thought about it, especially like a couple of weeks ago. That idea came across. I was like, we could try and find some way to like make money.
Potentially, kind of like they have like the aquatic sport, racket sport.
Yeah.
It
That could be like the individual sport, like instead of taking yoga or badminton, you know.
Yeah, they would just come to our weightlifting club room.
That would be great.
It's not a bad idea because I mean it's possible. I just think that they need to see a reason to do it.
Yeah.
And I think part of the reason why we have this club as well is to show that hey, this sport is growing. We went from having like 10 people to like now we kind of cycle through like there's so many of us. And every semester we cycle. I think the reason why like we don't retain a whole lot of people is probably because sometimes that room gets like really crowded.
Yeah.
So sometimes there's like 20 people in there. It's like 4 or 5 people to a platform, and half of them have never lifted anything before. The other half are trying to compete and want like one-on-one coaching time. But like, you know, that's again the issue with why we need more coaches in there. But I think a lot of people are turned off by how like packed it is in there. Yeah. But if we could show like with our attendance and with the fact that we have a lot of people that are starting to compete, then maybe the Kines like program, the Kines people, whoever in charge of that place will be like, oh hey, we should pay them to do that.
Yeah. Or at least provide us with a bigger room.
Or just give us the
equipment, bigger room.
Yeah. I mean, I think equipment we're doing fairly well.
You guys got some new dumbbells, right? Or you guys got some?
Well, we got the dumbbells from upstairs.
Dumbbell curls.
I've been doing those. Trying to get that 60
all that equipment in there though, it came from us. Like we've had a couple gifts, like
I think we had like a couple barbells, like when we were first
barbells, a
starting
couple
out.
Platforms, but all that stuff is just money we make.
Oh yeah, every competition we make like a shit ton of money. It's so awesome. Yeah, I think like $2,000 or something. Yeah, it's kind of a lot.
Shirts.
Wow.
Oh, shirts, dude. I feel like this semester, I mean, I would not be surprised if we made over $5,000 this semester.
Yeah.
Just on attendance and shirts, like alone, we probably made like a couple thousand.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I'm still like this week. I think I sold $100 in shirts.
I know.
Or no, probably more. Like I think
it's like
just
late in the
past 2
semester,
days.
people are buying shirts. I'm like,
Yeah, because $100 is only 4 shirts. I'm sure you sold more than 4.
Oh, dude, I've sold like 5 this week already. We just sold one today.
yeah.
Yeah, like just before we came over here, we just sold a shirt.
It's expected to sell a few shirts in the beginning of the semester because everything's new. But towards the middle and the end, people are buying shirts, and you're like, bros, like you still want a shirt?
Yeah, I honestly feel like we're getting to the point where we have enough money where we're like, maybe we don't need more equipment. Maybe we should spend this money on like traveling and competing at other competitions. That's what Dr. Galpin has talked about before.
Yeah.
Or like paying for membership to USAW.
That
things
too.
like that.
Well, that's another thing too. I want to kind of just briefly bring up, like whether you guys are in the process or if you guys are already USAW.
Oh, we're actually not, which is
We're
really
not,
fun.
yeah. He's got a personal training cert.
I got that.
It.
Got that
Honestly,
bachelor's degree.
Yeah.
No, honestly, like I honestly think, at least for our school, I mean, I can't really speak for other schools because I came here, but I think just having a bachelor's degree from the school, like I think that's worth way more than any certification out there.
Yeah.
Just being certified here, you're pretty much CSCS. You just might already be taking the exam, you know.
Yeah.
If you took the undergrad strength classes here. So you know, when people ask, "Oh, what are your certifications?" Like, where'd you go to school? Or we have a bachelor's degree?
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of people have. I'm sure you guys have seen those people that are personal trainers that have like a communications bachelor's or like a business bachelor's degree, and they're like all these different certifications, like listed like a whole row of them. It's like it doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah.
I think a bachelor's degree in exercise science,
Like
it's so much more.
They probably can't explain like glycolysis. Or
Exactly.
anything. Like,
You probably don't even know what glycolysis is.
Yeah. I mean, I know when I got personal training certified, I had no idea what that shit was because it is the easiest cert in the world. I just sat there with my textbook. It took me like 2 months because I was in a timeline. the time limit, and I was just like, yeah, I'm not gonna comprehend any of this physiology bullshit. And then I decided to be a kinesis major. I was like, wait, I have to live that now. And then I was like, oh, this is the coolest thing ever. I love physiology. But yeah, I think that says a lot. I will say though, the one thing that I wish we had in this program was I wish there was like a class that bridged the gap between like all the biomechanics stuff, especially the class you're talking about, or I don't know if we were talking about with this on, but
yeah,
like
463. 463.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
Yeah, we're talking about like tissue health and I mean whatever else Dr. Lynn's talking about in that
mobility and range of motion, everything.
Yeah, if we could like FMS, how to screen people, if we could fit that together with a strength and conditioning class. Like I wish there was a class that went over like every detail on how to fix someone's squat, because then you're not only learning like everything about anatomy of like the positions of the squat and all that stuff, but like you're learning like how to change a tissue property to be able to get someone to be able to like get lower.
That's 463. Take it.
Yeah, okay, there you go.
That's it.
Awesome.
I'm telling you, like, I think now we have new concentrations. We have a strength and conditioning concentration.
Yeah, I heard about that.
But
it's not going to show up in my graduation.
It sucks. It freaking sucks. And now they have like this, they also have this this mentor thing. I don't know if you guys got the email. NoFall is the one that is doing it. So you could be a mentor if you're a junior standing at least, and you get credit for it. It's like 3 units. And then you just like mentor somebody for like 5 hours a week, like a freshman, and you get credit for it.
Like Big Brother? Like
or whatever. You get to go that way, yeah.
It's a class?
No, it's not a...
It's like
or is this something you
I think you enroll for it, but you don't. It's not a class. You just mentor that person, and then you like keep a log and you send it to NoFall. Make sure that you're keeping up with that person.
That's crazy.
Check your emails. I'm sure you guys got it.
I could have used that when I was.
Yeah,
exactly right.
Yeah.
And I would have loved to mentor somebody. It is to like, just graduate.
I always talk about how it took me so long to get through college,
right?
And at the same, like I know majority of it was me messing up, but a lot of it was like messing up because I didn't know what to do or what direction to go. You're just kind of like going with the flow kind of thing.
Yeah,
but I think that's a good thing though, because our major's so big though, dude. I mean, there's people. I think Albert the other day were talking about how it took him a while to graduate, but it's because he took like all the classes.
Yeah.
He did like all the tracks. He met all the professors, and so like now he has all that information.
Yeah, I think he like specialized in sports psych or something like that too, which is strange because his thesis ended up being like speed, like nothing to do with psychology. I'm pretty sure like if you I don't know check his Facebook or something, text him, have a beer with him, ask him. I don't remember.
Yeah, but going back to what you were saying, I think I looked at the requirements to have a concentration in officially, because right now I guess like if you take all the strength classes, you have a concentration, but you won't have it on your bachelor's degree. Yeah. But now you do. Yeah. And I was looking at their classes, and there aren't any biomechanics classes that you need in order to have that concentration. I think that's something that's missing.
They're just electives.
I think,
They're electives or.
Yeah, I mean you just take them if you want to take them. If you want to concentration in strength and conditioning, you take 470, 450, 351, 458. The personal training one.
Oh yeah.
I think it's just those 5s.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
Oh, so that's like required now.
If you want a concentration in strength and conditioning, yeah. If you want like an official one, you know.
That's cool. I would have definitely switched out some classes for that.
I would have too. We're graduating now, but you're a grad.
I'm already done.
I went in last week and I was like, I heard we could declare a focus now.
Too late
I wanted to do it. He's like, I don't think that'd be a good idea for you. He's like, let's look at it. And sure enough, I needed like 3 classes.
Yeah.
He's like, you're just fine where you're at. He's like, honestly, to be successful in the career you want to go to, you don't need you don't need it to say you don't have to have it say strength and conditioning.
Was that Sergio you were talking to?
You know
soccer guy?
I think it was him. Yeah.
He's like,
cool. Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Dude, that guy's awesome. I had for
one thing
soccer.
he did recommend though. He's like,
oh hell yeah,
nice.
But no, like before that, I went in there. I had so much shit going on, like with trying to graduate, that I went in there like 5 times, and I was like, I don't know. I get along with some of the old people.
Yeah.
He's not old, but I like talking to the older people.
Yeah. Nice. So you know
I had for soccer.
us?
Nah, you guys are too young.
How about Eddie?
He's
We're
old as
same
shit.
age.
You're older than me too.
Wait, I'm older than. Wait,
Yeah.
what? I'm 23.
Oh no, he's like 26 now.
yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, he's old as fuck.
Yeah,
I didn't know
my
that.
Dude, Jeff Steele's 27 now.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you got. Yeah. I mean, I thought we were all around the same age. I mean, I figured you were probably like 24, 25,
Yeah,
something like that.
25,
Yeah.
So when I say it took me a while to graduate,
Yeah, it did.
took me a while to graduate.
Yeah. I shouldn't feel so bad.
No, one thing he did recommend though, besides like not being able to declare that focus, he's like, get your certs. Like, get your CSCS,
CSCS.
your CPT. He's like, and just start working in the field.
Yeah, dude, get one of those.
I'm gonna get the CSCS soon.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
I'm working on that.
I am too. As soon as I graduate, I'm gonna take like a few. I want to take it as soon as I can because
I
I
did
did
the-
design. It's
Oh.
like I don't want to wait any longer.
Yeah.
So I'm literally just gonna like study, go over the book, flip through the pages for like a few weeks, 2 weeks maybe, and then just take the exam.
I did an exam prep like I think it was like 2 weeks ago.
Here?
Yeah, I did that.
Oh, it
I
was
did
like
that.
2 G's, right?
Dude, no, not too.
How much
hell
was
no.
it?
I'm gonna go broke. Check my
How much-
account right now.
How much was
It was
it?
like
Oh, that's
$300
cheap.
bucks.
That's $300 for the
Something
prep.
like that.
Oh, that's
$200,
right. My bad.
yeah.
I was thinking of something else.
Yeah,
so how
you
was it?
scared me. It was good.
Who taught
It
it?
was good. I don't remember her name, but they gave us a booklet, like a handout, a workbook, and it had all the slides, and you basically just took notes. Dude, it was like 351 all over again. We had Coburn come in, Brown come in, Dr. Galpin come in to like pretty much lecture. It's what we've learned.
I know. I
It's
figured
like
that's what it was.
over.
But did you see like a lot of students from different schools coming in and kind of like
Yeah, dude,
just them like
it's
seeing-
weird. Like
Yeah.
a lot of like grown like adults.
Yeah.
There was probably like 3-4 like kids like or people our age, but there's a lot of people like grown ass people.
Oh, really?
And it was interesting to see that because like you think like, oh, it's college kids are gonna try to get this, not someone else.
Exactly.
But yeah, and then I don't know, just being in there, the questions they were asking compared to like questions we were asking. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of the questions, you know, they have experience in the field, but you also know like it's been a while since they've like gone through what we're learning right now at the time. So
Yeah.
we're more up to date, and a lot of the questions they're asking, like one of the guys was like, oh, something about training kids, and we know like, there's nothing wrong with training kids.
Yeah.
And so the instructor was explaining to him all that, and you're just kind of sitting there like, damn, like I learned all this. Like I got
So
all this.
like-
I had the opportunity to learn all this already.
Yeah.
So a lot of it was a review. It was really good though, and having the booklet helped out. Kind of like I felt like the workbook was gonna help guide me through actually reading the textbook and knowing what I need to actually pay attention to when I take the exam.
So was there anything on there that was new that we didn't learn in any of our strength and conditioning classes?
If anything, it's like how to organize an actual gym as far as like
hell yeah.
equipment and
Oh.
placement and all that.
Yeah.
So if you're studying on your own, look into that.
Yeah.
I think that's in that personal training class.
I took that class with
Yeah.
Cali, yeah.
So
Okay.
where's the water fountain supposed to be? I know
Yeah.
it's-
Well, I mean, sometimes based off of like the building you get, you don't have a say in where the water fountain's at.
But like,
But it's a lot of it is like how far from the wall should something be placed, or how far apart should machines be placed. Where should lighting? Where should weights be? Like
Really?
all kinds of
That's
stuff.
weird.
Room
Yeah.
temperature. I was like, what the fuck?
I'm gonna
Room
fail
temperature.
that part.
Do you think our weightlifting club does
Shit.
this?
Yeah.
Just whatever we're doing over there, do the opposite
Yeah.
with the layout.
We should go into like an evaluation of the whole setup, right?
Right.
Where's the emergency
Fail,
door?
fail.
Emergency
Yeah.
door. We locked ourselves in there earlier this
Oh,
semester.
dude, that was a trip.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't get out of the room if you close the door.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so there was like 15 people in the room, and
We're there
Jeff-
training. You guys were trying to do a homework assignment.
Oh, me and Jeff Steele we were filming some stuff for Dudley's 461 class, like the biomechanics one, and the lighting was all shitty. So Jeff Steele closed the door and was like, "We gotta set the camera right there."
Dude,
we
he
didn't know
shut
this.
it, and I was like, Jeff, did you close that? He's like, yeah, man, we're just gonna do it real quick. He's like, we'll open it right now. I just need to record. I was like, no, like you shut it. He's like, yeah, I closed it. I was like, dude, how are we gonna get
This
out?
is how we die.
He's like, what? And he goes and he's like, oh shit, dude, are we locked in here? I was like, dude, you can't open
There's
it.
like 10 other people at this.
Oh, my God.
Everybody just gets quiet, they're like looking at us. I was like,
Who do we eat first? It would be me because I have a lot of fat.
So how'd you guys end up getting out? You guys
We
called-
slid a
Like,
key on the
key
door
under?
for some girl walking
luckily,
by.
like right when I realized a girl was walking by, and I was like, hey! And I was like, Adam, toss me your key. I was like, wait. And she's like looking at me like, she's like,
You guys are stupid.
I would have booked
he
it.
tossed me the key. And I said,
I would have been like, give me some money. We know you guys got all that money in some box in there.
Oh my god. That's
no,
funny.
but luckily she opened. I was just like, dude, thank you.
Oh my god.
She didn't join the club though, actually.
Oh.
We didn't get her with that one.
Well, going back to the CSCS, you guys know that we're posting a CSCS. We have like a CSCS question of the week, right?
No?
Is it?
Yeah.
Kenese prep.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So you guys like.
Dude, they had a nutrition one. This was in the class.
Yeah.
I fucked it up. But
A
as soon as I
class?
saw
I mean,
it was
a question?
nutrition,
Was it?
yeah. You have I think it's
what do you need to eat to get to 200 pounds? Is that the question?
That's like my question of life, period.
The answer is what I did last time. I got Samoa flavored ice cream and Oreos, and I made my own little Cold Stone thing.
Nice.
Yeah, that was my dinner. That and a bunch of meat.
I think the question was like, you have a 6'1" football player. I forgot the weight, but he wants to gain. What she made us pay attention to was like the way it was structured. It was like he wants to gain more weight and muscle or something like that. And then they give you the percentages, like he's taking so much protein, so much fat, so much carbs. Like that's how much he's consuming daily. It's like, which one of these do you have to increase? And I think protein was 50%.
Whoa.
Fat or some shit. I don't remember. Protein was the highest.
Yeah.
And then carbs and fat were fairly close in percentages as far as like how much he was consuming. But the question was like, which one do you increase?
Was the answer carbs?
Huh?
Was the answer
it was
carbs?
carbs. Yeah.
Yeah.
I fucked it up.
I
was like protein, but
too.
the thing is, she's like, no, he's already consuming enough protein.
Yeah.
50% a lot.
He's like,
Yeah,
you increase the carbs because he needs to work out more to increase the weight, the muscle weight. He's like, so you increase the carbs, that way he could work out more, and therefore he's already taking enough protein to increase the muscle mass, so you don't need more protein.
Exactly.
So that, like, when she explained it, I was like, oh shit, I fucked up.
And then we go back to nutrition class 470.
Yeah.
Protein synthesis requires energy, and it's
Yeah.
primarily carbohydrates.
Yeah.
So you need carbs.
Dude, and it's a trip how, like, misconstrued that idea is for anyone. People are like,
This whole low carb thing.
protein.
Yeah, dude.
And it's like, well, get some carbs. And like, I got coworkers that just started working out, and they asked me like, what do you recommend? Like, what supplements? I was like, honestly, as far as supplements, like, I don't know. Like, you can like, people use pre-workout. It's good. It'll give you like energy.
Yeah.
I was like, but as far as like gaining mass, I was like, eat a lot more and protein shakes post-workout. Like, that's like your beginning thing. But then, like, weeks after that, they're coming to work and they're coming to work with just protein shakes. And I'm like, well, what about the food? Like, they're like, and that's all they're focused on, just taking the protein shakes. I'm like, dude, you need to eat. Like, shit's not gonna work out if you're not eating.
Turns into a meal replacement, huh?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what happens. Like, they think like, oh, I'm taking protein now, I'm gonna get bigger. So they forget about eating everything else. And it's like, no, you kind of fucked it up now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my favorite when I hear about people that are like, oh, like, I mean, any dude you see at like the rec center that's just trying to, like, coming in tank tops, like trying to get their swole on,
with their backpacks.
Yeah,
buckled up
with
with
their
their
backpacks.
Ready?
All that big oil.
Yeah, they just want to get big.
Yeah.
And like, get big. They don't understand that in order to get big, you're gonna put muscle. You're gonna put body fat in it. You're gonna put some muscle. Body fat. They don't understand that. They're like, I want to get big, but I don't want to get fat. I just want to get lean. You know?
So then what they do with that is they're like, and you ask them like, oh, how many carbs are you eating? They're like, oh, well, I try to stay below 100. It's
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
And then just put a bunch of protein. You know?
Yeah.
Really?
Just go shit out a bunch of protein.
I remember like a year. What was it? I was one of the first times. Like, he's always been harassing me about my weight, but it was one of the first times I consciously.
I'm giving him a complex about his weight, even though he's had a six-pack since I've met him. I'm like.
But it was one of the first times I consciously like made an effort to like do something.
Yeah.
Before I was always eating just like either salmon or chicken with like veggies.
I'm like,
And
what
then,
the fuck is this? Too many green
And
things.
then he's like, dude, you need to gain weight, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, just have like a steak and like potatoes. I was like, fuck it. So for like I think I started doing it like consistently.
Yeah.
But after like just 2 weeks of doing that, right away I saw different. Like, I got big. And I remember in the fall, saw me walking down the house, like, hey, you're looking bigger. I was like, dude, I just started eating steaks with potatoes. Like, that alone.
Keyword with potatoes.
Yeah.
Protein and carbs.
And it worked, and I was just like,
So simple.
that's when it kind of like clicked, like, I need more carbs in my diet.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, that's the hard thing for me though. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I love meat, but I just don't give a shit about carbs. I don't like bread. I mean, all I eat is like rice now though.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the hardest part for me. It's weird when people are like, I can't get enough protein. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Really?
Really? You could eat like 2 steaks to get all your protein.
You cannot go wrong with that. I'm surprised though, because carbs are fairly easy to get. Usually protein are the ones that are hard to get.
Dude, I don't know.
Carb is like almost everything.
Yeah.
We must really try not to eat carbs.
See, like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It just doesn't appeal to me. The way I compose all of my meals, I look at it like this, like protein main source, because then if you get some kind of meat or whatever, like you're probably gonna have a little bit of some fat.
Some fat, exactly.
Yeah, so that's good. And then the next thing is some kind of veggie or something that's like the healthy part of it.
Yeah.
But what usually happens, I'm like, if you're trying to gain weight, I usually like to prioritize the stuff that I know is going to get you to gain weight. So let's put that above like the healthy stuff. So I usually go. That's why I recommend steak and potatoes to him. Because I know you already spent some time eating vegetables, which you know, for me, that's my hard part. I don't get enough vegetables. So right now, I'm throwing in broccoli and all that kind of bullshit. That's actually pretty good. And I don't like Brussels sprouts though.
Because before I used to I work at a grocery store. So right after I punched out, I'll walk to the back, the meat department, grab my piece of meat, and then walk over to the produce section and grab my veggie. And before it was always like broccoli or something. And now I got to the point where like I look at the greens and I'm like, I don't want that shit. Like now I'm more where he's at, just like potatoes. And sometimes not even potatoes. I'm just like buy a piece of meat. I'm like hoping there's something at home I could like munch on. So, like hopefully mom made beans or rice.
Dude, I made beans for the first time the other day, like where it's like just a raw bean that I turned into stuff. And it was an awesome idea. One of our guys that helps coaching and everything, Dustin, he's one of the grad students, but he told me this awesome idea. What you do is like, actually, Eddie just got crock pot for the first time, so this was awesome.
Expect the gains.
That is like the greatest invention ever. But so I cook so much meat in crock pots. So what I did is I got like some pork. I don't remember what kind of meat it was because it's just, I know it was pork, but I don't care what cut it was. It was good. It's pork. Yeah, it's just pork. Some pig. And then I cut up a bunch of veggies into like, serrano peppers. That was a good idea. And then a bunch of stuff like that, put it in there, and then what I did was I soaked the beans overnight, which never done that before, and I'm pretty sure I screwed that up. But anyway, and then I in the morning I took all the meat out and put it in Tupperware, and then I put all the beans in the meat juice with all the vegetables and stuff. And I didn't realize how much beans I put in there. But the next day, I called my roommate. I was like, dude, can you take all those beans out for me? And I came home and there was a bowl it's not a bowl. It was like a trough. It took up an entire shelf on my fridge.
Oh, wow.
Just filled with beans. And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do. I should take this to a homeless shelter. Just here, I will feed all your people for a week. But
oh my god,
that shit is good.
How'd it taste though?
It is delicious. I eat it. Yeah, but I just feel like I'm never gonna shit again. I don't know what's gonna happen. There's so many beans in my life now.
Oh, you're gonna shit.
No, I think it does the opposite. I'm pretty sure it just stays in your body and you become a bean.
You become a bean.
I am a bean now. That shit is good though. That's definitely a good recommendation. If you're trying to add some kind of nutrients, add something like protein. Some like beans that are just.
He mentioned too, cooking a chicken and then just the broth that's left over, throw rice, cook rice in that broth.
Yeah.
Usually what I do is I serve myself rice and I put the broth on the rice.
Oh yeah.
It just gives it's just
such a nice flavor.
Because imagine cooking it in the broth. Usually you cook your rice in the
that does sound good.
Imagine cooking it in the broth, all that flavor.
Yeah, that does sound good.
But yeah, definitely prioritize carbs if you're trying to gain weight.
Yeah.
I also do the opposite. When I have my personal training clients, I'm like, what do you eat now? Make sure, I know you're probably having protein because you've heard enough from me.
Yeah.
But you're probably eating too many carbs. It's if you're losing weight, why don't we just replace that with a bunch of veggies? So I kind of do the opposite. That's all I look at. I'm for Eddie, I was like, dude, you eat so many veggies. You're not having any carbs. You're probably full too. By then you're gonna throw in carbs, and then if you're lucky, eat some vegetables too. Then you could actually not get sick and stuff.
Yeah.
But
that's something that I used to when I was taking Galvin's class. You know how he would always come in with his
his green
yeah.
shit.
So at that time, dude, I was all about the shake. So I would always
I do that.
all the time. I would have a cooler in my car, and I would have literally four of these filled with fruits and vegetables. A lot of fruits because I hate vegetables, so I wouldn't be able to taste the vegetables. And I would just leave a cooler in my car. So I would take one or two with me. I would drink them, go back to my car, and refill them, or switch them up.
Yeah.
Just have them throughout the day.
You just spend your whole day in the bathroom though.
What happened? It's a lot of fiber. A lot of fiber. So yeah. So I think I was
skip a lot of classes.
I think I was overdoing it, but that's the only way I can eat vegetables. Man. I cannot eat any vegetables.
Dude, the best way to do is cover it with shit tons of hot sauce. Or whatever, find something that you love. That's all I do. Actually, this is my favorite breakfast ever. Right here is you make some kind of steak. Hey, the air conditioning just turned off. Yeah, it's got so quiet. You cook a steak and then you cook that steak in a bunch of butter. preferably grass-fed butter because that tastes so much better and it may be healthier. Then after that, you cook the broccoli. You get a bunch of broccoli and cook it in like the meat juice and butter. Oh my god, it's like the best. Like broccoli will never taste better. I don't know. You can put as much cheese as you want on it, but like it's not gonna taste better than meat juice and butter. That and then coffee, strawberries. That's my favorite breakfast right there.
Nice. I
It's
gotta try
delicious.
it.
Yeah.
Dude, I wish I had my vegetarian pamphlet to give to you guys.
Are you
Right?
vegetarian? This whole time?
All this talk.
This whole time.
I was looking at my tangerine.
I
Like,
completely forgot about it.
What do you do?
what's that?
What do you eat? Little baby oranges
Carry these tangerines
that
with
you
me.
wrote on?
What does it say?
No, now it's writing some stuff.
Knees?
But no, I mean, it's good stuff to know though, right? Just to
Yeah. How do you get your protein? What do you do? What are you doing right now?
Mr. Plant Bill.
probably like 10 bags of spinach. I don't know.
Yeah, you're gonna eat like a fucking deer.
Like Popeye, the Cellman. Nah, dude. No, lately I've been eating fish again. What's called tuna, fish.
Oh, so you're not a vegetarian?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
So
You're a salad. You're a salad.
I'm a pescatarian now, so
Okay.
I've been messing with fish a lot, and it feels good too because my favorite food is sushi. So
There you go.
yeah. It's,
Oh, so you don't have to like suffer.
Wait,
for
so what
not
were you
eating
doing before? Were you not having sushi?
no, but I was having dreams of it.
That sounds funny.
It
Yeah.
tastes just as good, but no, it's good stuff though. Just going back to this whole kinesiology theme though, you guys have been here for a while, but what are like some recommendations, tips you guys would give to anybody listening, especially freshmen?
Do you got one? I got one.
Shit, go for it. I got it.
What I'd say is what I know our teachers do a really good job at, like setting you up throughout the process, is like they really make sure you read research. Obviously, that's a recommendation. What I think I notice a lot though with some of the people that go to our school, I think they rely a lot on either the textbooks that they get or or the lectures that they get from the professor or the research that they read. What I think a lot of times that it seems like a lot of people miss out on is all of the information from all of the people that are successful in our industry, not as professors and researchers, but as the people that are actually training the athletes that they have, like, you know, the strength and conditioning coaches at schools. I mean, we got some people like, I mean, one good name to drop is like Eric Cressy, probably one of the greatest like baseball strength and conditioning coaches out there, because that guy, I don't know, out of like top 10 or the first 10 draft, I don't know baseball. He had like 4 of the 10 like first draft picks or something like that. This guy's like a genius. So like I've read so much shit from that guy, and like he was also a really, really good power lifter. He has like a 3 times body weight deadlift or higher or something like that. He's a little tiny guy. He's like Eddie size. No offense. I mean like he weighs like, he's not a 280 pound guy.
Yeah.
He weighs like
That's
165.
tiny. Well, I don't know what I am.
But I mean like read stuff from the guys that are succeeding, the guys that like people are paying a shit ton of money to work with. Don't just read from the people that are like in a lab doing stuff. Read from the people that take the lab stuff and apply it, because they're the people that like bridge the gap from like what you like are doing in school from what you want to do later in life. And if you're not reading from those guys, like you need to get on that shit, because that helps out so much. That's what I did like for the 4 years before I became a Kines major. All I did was read about like anatomy and physiology from some of these like top coaches, and then I got to the Kines program and I was like, fuck, this is easy, like this is awesome, like anatomy, like I know this shit because I read so many articles from people like Eric Cressy, which he's definitely not the only guy I read from, but he's definitely someone I highly recommend. But yeah, you need to read all that kind of stuff. If you know what kind of field you're going into, like I know a lot of people that really like baseball stuff. I'm not a big fan. I'm reading a lot right now on weightlifting stuff, like just endless amounts of articles, but like read that shit like ASAP. And that's probably the biggest recommendation.
Just read and apply, right?
Stop studying as much and read more other stuff.
Yeah.
Stop worrying about your homework. Like if you read stuff in general, you're gonna know more about anatomy. So on your anatomy test, like you're gonna do better if you just know the body better.
Exactly.
Yeah, you don't need to just memorize over and over again like what your anatomy textbook says. Like try and learn it in an applied way. Like go one step ahead of what all the classes are. Like take physiology beyond what it is currently teaching you, and then it will be easier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
It's a good one.
Cool.
Yeah.
What you got, Eddie?
I think something I recommend, and it's probably a big thing for me because I was a commuter, especially because I drove so far, and even for the people that live nearby who probably don't have to travel as far as being a student in general, is just learning to actually be here. Like be in class, and I'm not just physically, but I mean like mentally, because I think my biggest thing was, I would make the commute and I would get to class, but my mind was still on like, I need to go to work at this time, I need to work these many hours this week, I'm broke, I need to get gas for, like, I was thinking about life,
right,
like just outside of class. So paying attention in class was hard, and a lot of times, like, at the end of the day, you're in class and you're gonna have that homework due and you're gonna have that assignment due, whether you have to go to work or not, or whether, like, if anything, deal with that when that comes up.
Exactly.
Like, learn to be in class, because there's so many classes I think about now, especially that I'm graduating. Like, you start going over like how many years you've been here,
right,
everything you've done, and I look back on classes and I'm like, I wish I would have paid more attention in exercise phys. I wish I would have listened more in biomechanics or shit like that. And I think about, like, what the fuck was I doing? And I was like, dude, that was that time that I, like, this was happening financially and I was working these many hours. Like, in a way, it's just kind of like, you're gonna struggle. Like, it's there whether you like it or not, but you're here because you want to not struggle in the future. So it's just be in class and learn what you can actually enjoy it. Talk to your professors. Like, I remember one of the biggest things, I remember taking Dr. Galpin's class. I was always like the shy douchebag, I guess. But I remember taking Dr. Galpin's class. He's like, all right, everybody get in a group and introduce yourselves. And his biggest thing was always like, know your classmates.
Yeah.
And
that's
I remember
when we became friends, though, I think.
Yeah, I think that and the weightlifting club.
Yeah, that was like the same time, I think.
But I remember just thinking like, fuck, another forced like socializing activity. Like, I didn't want to do it. Like, I remember I still hate shaking hands with people because I get like really clammy and shit. Like, fuck, they're gonna touch me, they're gonna feel me or whatever.
They're gonna think I'm weird.
Yeah, but I'm like, God, whatever. And whatever, we did it. And I got to know a few people in that class, and then I took another class with him. He did the same thing again. And he actually had one of his friends come through and talk to our class, and I remember him saying, he's like, get involved, meet your classmates and get involved with the grad students, get involved with the professors, be their guinea pig. They need people for their studies, just do it.
Oh yeah.
And I was just like, it was Mike Bledsoe.
Yeah.
And I was just like, fuck, like, I hate socializing. Like, it's awkward for me. Like, not that I hated socializing, I was just very timid. Like, it made me really anxious, really nervous. And for Galpin's classes, it required, we had to do studies. So I was like, all right, so little by little, I did the studies, got to meet some grad students. And then it was weird because out of just that, even in other classes, I would meet people and talk to them. And I started, and through the weightlifting club, getting involved and meeting more and more people, it made being at school a lot more pleasurable. It made being in class a lot more pleasurable. It made class a lot easier. There's so many times I needed help on an assignment and I got by in class because of someone I knew. Like, Adam helped me get through a class I didn't pass. But he helped me so much. Like, I did as well as I did because he helped me. And if it weren't for that, like, I probably would have done way worse. But it's just like, actually having people to help you out, it made it, and I started realizing it wasn't so much that I hated socializing, I just wasn't good at it, which made me awkward and shy and all that other stuff. But once you start learning how to talk more to people and just communicating, it made it a lot easier. And just like, it was weird. I have a class, Movement and the Child, and a lot of them they're Chad majors, and there's like probably 3-4 Kines people in there. But we befriended this girl from a different major. And we walk out of the class is in the Kines building. We walk out of the hallway, we link up with my brother and his friend. And then as we're sitting in the hallway talking, more Kines people walk by, and then everybody starts saying hi and we're talking, and she's like looking at us, she's like, how do you guys know everybody?
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's not that we know everybody, we're just like, we've had all, I was like, I've at least had one class with everyone in this group. There was like 10 of us in that group. I was like, we all like, one time hung out or through the weightlifting club or whatever, like, we've socialized one way or another. When we see each other, it's kind of like a little like community, like family. Like, we're all there. And that, like, I think about like when I first started college to where I'm at now. Before, I was like in and out, come to school, leave, and that's it. I had no friends, probably people that I knew from high school that came here, but even they kind of like just went on, did their own thing, and like for a while I was just a student. But over time, it's like, as all that started happening, it made being in class a lot easier. It made class a lot easier, like I said. And then just like, now it made me realize, like, if I would have started off with that sooner, it would have made learning a lot easier. Yeah. Like now I know luckily I paid enough attention to know, okay, there's things I want to go back to just kind of like refresh and get it better in my head. But I think if I would have known what I know now back then, to just actually sit in class and pay attention and just be mentally prepared to learn, then yeah. Because like one thing Adam brings up a lot, he's like, I don't study. I don't know if you want to say that.
Yeah, I don't study.
Yeah. But like me, I'm like, I grabbed like a couple days before the exam, I gotta go over this shit. But I started realizing there's classes where I could just sit in class, and then maybe because it grasped my attention, but I could just sit in class and listen, and sometimes barely even take notes. And when exam day comes by, I do fine.
Yeah, that's my method.
And the thing is, it's because I'm there, like I'm in class. And there's other classes where I sit down and my mind is like somewhere else. So I think if anything, it's that like just because you're physically in school doesn't mean you're in school. Right. And one thing, like if you're a freshman or you're new, or maybe you've probably been here a couple of years already and you're still trying to figure out, just take advantage of where you're at. Because a lot of times I think we don't realize like we're in college. Like there's so many people that don't get the opportunity to go to college, or probably didn't have someone that geared them towards that. So yeah, some people say you don't need college to be successful, but while you're in it, take as much as you can from it. Yeah, and it is fun, dude. I could say there's a point where I was like, I hated it. Like it just felt like another job or like more work. And now like these past like few years, it's like I can look back and say like that shit was tight. Like if I could do it again, I would have approached it a lot more different. But yeah, just
I think what you're trying to sum up of join the weightlifting club, right?
And that, dude. Man, that honestly,
you make a lot of friends.
And it's funny because I'm sure other clubs are like, yeah, like we're all cool, blah blah blah. Like I tell people, I was like, man, even if you don't, and I know it sounds kind of dumb because we have no room at all, but I'm like, even if you don't want to work out, just sit in and just hang out.
That happens. There's a lot of people. I feel like you always come in.
I think I do that from time to time. Just catch time, right?
Yeah.
Sitting there catching up with you guys.
There's so many times people just come in and just like stop by and say, hey. I mean, even like Dr. Brown comes in, and stands out, like
he doesn't look for, he doesn't snatch or
no, he doesn't actually snatch everything.
But just being in there, like that environment, and then I don't know, like then people start talking about class, and it all meshes together, the kines thing and the weightlifting thing. Like we got people working out, and then we got people just talking about class, and then out of nowhere they're helping each other out. Like everyone's just
a big network,
yeah.
That's why I feel like there's nothing that really helps you form your craft more and like learn more about anatomy than like trying to be a coach and like be around the coaching environment. Like being like if you intern at our strength and conditioning department, it's probably a really awesome experience for learning how the body moves and stuff. But like when you come to the weightlifting club, learning a skill like weightlifting will teach you a hell of a lot about like how the body works.
It's a trip. Me and Adam have talked about like we don't understand how there's so many people in our program that when they go through a class where they have to actually perform a squat or something, you realize how they can't squat. They can't move.
It's so foreign.
And it's like, how are you going through this major not knowing how to move properly?
It's probably because they're shy and everyone thinks they're a douchebag because they come in class with baby oil.
Yeah, I used to all right, he keeps bringing up baby oil because we had a swim class, right?
He's so shiny all the time.
I would burn, so I'd put suntan lotion on, and I would walk out and he's shiny.
Flexing his abs.
He's glowing.
Lotion all over.
And it would suck because I would come everybody's on one end of the pool and I'm at the other end. And as soon as I walk out the doors, he's like, hey Eddie, did you rub baby oil on? Like across the pool. So the whole class heard, and I'm just like, fuck, dude.
Oh, yeah. That's funny.
I'm a dick.
He was just mad.
I was so fat.
Alright, well, let's wrap things up here. For people that want to look for you guys or maybe join the club, where can they find you?
Yeah, what's our email?
CSUF Weightlifting @gmail.com.
We'll put it on there. But you guys are on Instagram, Facebook, right?
Yeah.
Anything else?
Do you guys have like a schedule set for the summer?
Not yet.
It'll at least for now. I think like we'll probably add more times. Hopefully, it's still gonna be Monday and Wednesday at noon. And the practices are usually, I mean, they're up to the person coming in. Like, there's been several times someone's come in for 30 minutes and, like, they can still get a shitload done. But practices are usually about 2 or so hours, depending on how much time you actually want to dedicate to it. So I'm usually in there about 12 to 2:30-ish on Monday, Wednesday. And then Tuesday, Thursday, I'm there. For summer, I'll be there about 11 to 2, basically. And then usually during the semester I have a few more hours that I add in there. So for now it's Monday, Wednesday noon, and Tuesday, Thursday 11.
Yeah, and the club's not open just to students, right? It's like alumni.
Yeah, we're open.
Oh, it's to
everybody.
anyone. You don't even have to be a student.
Yeah. We actually get a lot of those too, which is really cool.
Yeah, we have some people that like visit every now and then from other schools. We have this guy Eric that always comes from USC. He just came by a couple weeks ago. I was like, who the hell?
Yeah.
Like it's been like a year almost.
Nice.
Yeah. So
I know there's you guys have a newsletter. You get it every week.
Yeah.
How do they sign up for it? Do they just like text or email you guys?
Email us and we'll put you on our contact list. That's the best way to get information from us.
Yeah,
Actually.
yeah.
We have a
Instagram,
Facebook
too.
and an Instagram.
Instagram, we're starting to post sometimes. We post like the practice times. For the most part, we're not that like I suck at taking videos. So I feel really bad about not posting up on Instagram, but definitely follow that because
if anybody's a photographer or into video and stuff, or they're interested in working with us, by all means contact us.
Yeah, if you want to lift
cool.
and take videos, that would be the most helpful thing.
Free coaching, and then you could use it for experience or
free coaching, meaning $25 a semester.
Oh, yeah, there you go. I forgot about that.
Nice.
But I actually met a guy in the library who's a marketing major, and I saw him working on the computer. I was like, dude, I don't know if you work out or anything, but we designed our own shirts, and prior to that, we needed some help designing the shirts. So I was like, if you want to come by and check us out, maybe you could help us next time or when something else comes around. So
this was the shy Eddie who said that?
Shit, yeah, right?
What, did he ever come back?
No, actually, I have his email. I'm gonna contact him.
Oh, okay.
But I'm like, it's just an example of like anybody who thinks they have something to offer.
Yeah.
Hey, you don't have to work out, but if you're just looking to do something, kind of like you guys, like you want to do the podcast, just hit us up and we'll try to make it work out. I know a lot of us are busy. We're all students, so everybody's constantly on the go. But I mean, it's a club and it's an organization and it's working. Like,
if you have any business tips and shit, stop
by.
Definitely too. If all this weightlifting stuff sounds intimidating, it's definitely not. Like if you feel like we would make fun of you if you don't know how to squat, like that's definitely not true.
The majority.
We were doing a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
It's not in front of you. It's not in front of you.
Yeah. We'll definitely make fun of you later.
Yeah. We'll wait for the second podcast show to do that.
But no, like half the people that show up, like I mean, we have so many people that have never worked out a day in their life that like have no idea how to squat and they get totally embarrassed, and then within like the first couple times they come in, they feel right at home because
especially and this is geared towards the females too. We get a lot of, you walk in there and you hear all the bars slamming or people throwing weight. The majority of our members are females, and you don't necessarily have to be strong, because they're learning and they're getting strong. If anything, I feel like that's one of the things that turns away a lot of our male members, because they already have experience lifting, so they're already strong, and we're coaching them with PVC pipe or just barbell, and they want to see weight on the bar.
Yeah.
So they don't see weight on the bar, and they're just like, well, this is boring. And it's like, no, you don't realize that weightlifting isn't just lifting the weight. Like you need to learn how to lift it and lift it properly to be efficient. So a lot of times those guys don't come back because they don't have the patience to sit there and lift a 45-pound barbell. Or what did you say earlier? 44?
44.
Lift a barbell when they're used to deadlifting, like, I deadlift 2 plates, 3 plates.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, we're not deadlifting.
You'll
right
get
now.
there.
Eventually you'll lift that,
Yeah.
but right now you need to learn how to move properly. So
we'll let you lift heavy shit when you can show that you're not going to hurt yourself.
one of the things, like, women, girls, don't be shy, and guys, be patient. Because in the end, it's going to work out.
Eventually you'll get really strong if you put enough time into it.
Yeah.
And hopefully prevent yourself from getting injured, right? Because chances are, if you're doing it on your own, you're probably not doing it.
That's another thing too, knock on wood, but we've had no injuries.
Yeah,
like
definitely knock on a shitload of wood, but no injuries so far. Just like, I mean, you might feel some pain from time to time, but that's part of the learning
regular
process.
strain or whatever, like didn't warm up properly. But as far as like getting hurt, we've never had anyone get hurt.
Which is pretty surprising considering how close quarters we are and how many bars are flying around.
We've actually had people who come in hurt, and we teach them how to
not get hurt.
Yeah, like
or unhurt themselves.
we had a guy who had rolled his ankle, and we started teaching him how to lift, and then started teaching him ankle mobility stuff. Or we've had people like, I hurt my back, and we start teaching them little exercises
like how to pick shit up properly off the floor.
Yes. I'm one of those guys. I was that guy that came in. I wanted to see plates on the bar, and I was stubborn and was lifting shit the way I wasn't supposed to, and I eventually did get hurt, but it wasn't anything crazy. But you learn. I realized, like, okay, like, it's a learning process. There's more to weightlifting than just raw
like weightlifting, I guess you could say. It's not just lifting raw weight. Like you need to learn how to lift it right.
Yeah. So basically, yeah, if you want to come in, learn how to get strong and potentially look a hell of a lot better and stuff like that too, and then also want to open up any kind of tightness you might have, come to the weightlifting club and we will try and fix all that shit.
Yeah.
And we are nice. We cuss a lot apparently. Yeah, everyone in there, like there's some people that are like really shy in there, that like some of the people that are obviously like the ones that want to compete and they might be like really focused and stuff, especially some of the girls that we have that are like really focused. They're awesome and they're super cool. They just might take a minute to warm up to, because honestly we see a lot of people that come in and out that like, oh, I want to join the club, and then we never see them again. So sometimes like you gotta, in a way, you gotta kind of have to like earn everyone's friendship, because like it's hard to. I mean, it's sad when you're like, I like this person a lot, and then you don't see them ever again for the rest of your life. Yeah. So like we don't attach ourselves that much to some people that come in. So everyone will warm up to you.
I think that's one of the biggest things, like understanding like people are focused when they're there. So
a
serious face doesn't mean an unfriendly face.
Yeah, this just means they're trying to figure out. Yeah. So we're nice. We don't bite. Come join.
I mean, unless you want us to.
That's what it is.
Let's call it a wrap then. All right. Well, thank you guys for your time.
Yeah, thank you. That was fun.
Follow them at Instagram, Facebook, and they're now on this new awesome podcast, right? What is it called? Yeah, I heard about that. It's pretty cool.
This is how we're gonna wrap up our first season with the Weightlifting Club. So thank you guys for your time. I'm pretty sure we'll stay in contact too for future episodes and stuff.
Of course.
So
you know where we will be.
Definitely.
All right, guys.
Where do we shout out the room number?
It's like 190 something.
193D. We're on the outside of the Kines building facing the soccer field.
Perfect.
Yeah. Oh, and our Instagram is CSUF Weightlifting. Pretty easy.
We'll put it on there.
He's got that.
We're good.
All right. Well, thank you for listening, you guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Peace.